Welcome back. No matter the season, if you want the best performance from your cattle, you have to consider parasite control. We have a closer look at the value of season-long parasite control as Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter brings us the story from Idaho.
John Allen has no trouble staying busy. He helps manage cattle in 4 different states, and with all those animals to care for, he knows the value of season-long parasite control. During our visit, John was working cattle at one of the ranch locations in Idaho.
I work for Easter Day Ranches. I've been with them for about 10 years, and my job in the summer with them is to manage these stocker cattle. We have several locations, and this is one of our locations here in Idaho. So in the course of a summer, I'll be responsible for the coordinating the receiving of the cattle. We'll set them up with a processing regimen and provide the vaccines and treatments for the cattle.
Deworming in the spring and the fall is an excellent practice. It's kind of the gold standard that most cattlemen have. Deworming in the fall is important for a multitude of reasons. Number one, these cattle get stressed. And when they get stressed, they get sick, just like people. And if the immune system is dealing with parasites, as well as stress and viruses and bacteria, it can overload the immune system. The last thing they need is to be dealing with parasites. And that's where deworming with a product like Long Range, particularly if they're grazing cattle, makes the most sense. Long Range is a long-acting dewormer, injectable dewormer for cattle. Gives cattle persistent protection up to 100 to 150 days, depending upon the parasite.
As with all stocker operations at Easter Day Ranches, they believe in setting up their cattle for success. They know from experience that strong and healthy cattle can return the best daily gains.
Currently, we're using Long Range for our deworming program. When we receive these cattle here, we have quite an investment in our vaccine program. We want to set these cattle up to be as strong and competitive as possible.
And that's why deworming is so important, is that if we deworm these cattle, they can do a better job of staying healthier. And that's the ultimate goal. To minimize the parasite load throughout the course of a grazing season means cattle just inherently feel better, their appetite's better. When their appetite's better, they're eating more, they're gaining more. And as a result, when you have a bigger calf that goes to market, that's more money in your back pocket as a producer.
In addition to the short-term benefits, the team at Easter Day Ranches sees long-term benefits from using Long Range for parasite control. They send stocker cattle from pasture directly into their own feedlots.
We've set these cattle up to gain and maximize the performance and utilize the resources of the grass that we have available. And with the cost of these cattle and the cost of gain, it's just really important that we maximize performance on these cattle. We own these cattle all the way to finish, and so we're setting them up here on the summer to continue throughout our program. We're trying to set them up to perform as good as they possibly can. So the investment we make now, we expect to pay off all the way to finish. We feel like that they come into our feedlots clean, they're able to go right on feed and go right to gaining.
Since Long Range is labeled for parasite control for up to 100 to 150 days, cattle are protected for the entire grazing season. Dr. Morvetz notes that the extended protection means less time and labor for producers.
Season-long control is a luxury. To not have to rework these cattle and deworm them time and time again through the grazing season. So not having to get them back up, work them, put them through the chute, put them at risk for injury, have to pay for additional product, additional labor. There's a lot of cost savings there, a lot of risk savings there.
When you look at all the options and the labor it would take to get these cattle in, rework them, the Long Range is really an incredible product. Well, as far as the time saving goes, a lot of these locations, the logistics of getting cattle back in, as far as maybe a deworming second time, the logistics are nearly impossible. To bring these cattle in is quite a job sometimes. We feel like this product is something that we can rely on to last throughout the season for us. And it simplifies our regimen. We're working with different operators, and you got different people in different parts of the country, and we can utilize a product that everyone can handle, and it's simple to use, and it works effectively no matter where we're at.
With their experience, both John Allen and Dr. Moravets believe Long Range delivers results that pay real dividends in cattle health and performance, as well as increasing the bottom line.
We've went to using Long Range in all our summer stocker cattle, and plan to continue to do so. When you're realizing the increased daily gain on these cattle, in today's market, it just does not take very long to get that money back out of these cattle. It's just really a simple choice. We see the increased weight gain, and I just believe it's going to pay off for your return on the investment.
I think that Long Range has a place in every cattle operation. So if you're grazing cattle on grass, Long Range is a product you need to consider. If you're a stocker operator, to me personally as a veterinarian, it's a no-brainer. You put it in these cattle, they perform better, they do better, they gain better.
In Idaho, I'm Brian Baxter reporting for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Here is some important safety information. Do not treat within 48 days of slaughter. Not for use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older, including dry dairy cows or in veal calves. Post-injection site damage can occur. These reactions have disappeared without treatment. Find out more at the website, thelongrangelook.com.
To find out more about prescription Long Range, contact your local veterinarian or call 1-888-MARIEL-1. You can also visit the website, thelongrangelook.com.